The 1999 film The Virgin Suicides was adapted after the 1993 novel of the same name. This film became a pop culture phenomenon through its use of media to its advantage. By using music or slight humor / lingo, it is able to create a sense of relatability to their viewers. And that allows the teenagers to connect with the characters they see on the screen and recognize the fact that teenagers have not been allowed to express how they feel for decades. This film was also used as a recognition that teenagers need to have a healthy emotional outlet found in their home life or school life. Because if they don't, then there are going to be dangerous repercussions. This brings us to the first scene of the movie, as the youngest of the 5 sisters is found attempting to commit suicide. And we get to experience a brief moment of the lovely Danny DeVito as her doctor, asking her why, because there's no need, and she's so young and doesn't even understand the horrors of the world yet. This first scene being so blunt to the viewer on death only shows the intensity at which this film will take place. It almost serves as a threat to the audience that teenagers need help.
What are you doing here, honey? You're not even old enough to know how bad life gets.
Obviously, Doctor. You've never been a 13-year-old girl.
One of the easiest ways to do this for any teenager is to have a social life. To be able to hang out with people your age and confide in them, to know that what you are feeling is not abnormal and almost everyone around you is also feeling the same. For the 5 girls in this family, there is an extreme lack of that due to their parents' strict rules. This may have been the cause of Cecilia's death in the first couple scenes of the movie.
Ronald! Cecilia!
As Cecilia's dead body lays in her father's arms, the viewer can notice that she's wearing a white dress. The color of white is the symbol of innocence and peace. But the scene is so distressing that even the boys, as they leave the party, can't process the horror that they're seeing. So the color that Cecilia is wearing is almost in stark contrast to what the viewer is witnessing. After experiencing their sister's death, the 4 other sisters are allowed to go to the dance, and Lux is determined that because this might be her one night out in a long time, to make it the best she can. So she does this by having sex with Trip on the football field. In the moment, she doesn't regret it at all, because she found trust in Trip and she found comfort in Trip after everything that she had lost. But when she wakes up on the field alone, she is overwhelmed with even a more powerful loneliness. The viewer can also see a color scheme change, as the majority of the shots through the movie have a lot more of a warm saturation to them. This scene has a very cold saturation to it, which can represent how Lux is feeling on the inside. But as she toys with the crown that she won at the dance last night in the car back to her house, she is forced to recognize that her one night of freedom and the crown that symbolizes her adulthood and growing up means nothing, because she is forced to go back to the house that she was confined to. The girls become grounded due to Lux's mistakes, and through a series of scenes we are able to see Lux's slow deterioration, and we can only assume that the other girls are feeling a similar way. The pain of losing her sister with no emotional outlet, and then the pain of Trip leaving her overwhelms her. and she is not allowed or supposed to talk about it, which makes a really heavy weight on her shoulders. A beautiful shot of Lux from behind, looking disheveled while she's smoking, which leads to her conversation with the boys before they come in, only proves the intensity at which she is suffering and the cries for help that she is trying to convey, but no one is willing to listen.
About time. We've been waiting for you guys.
We got a car. We got a full tank of gas. We'll take you anywhere you want to go.
It's just a Cougar, but it's got a pretty big trunk.
Can I sit up front?
Sure.
Which one of you is gonna sit up front next to me?
Where are your parents?
Asleep.
What about your sisters?
They're coming.
Come on, it's getting late.
Wait 5 minutes. We had to wait until my parents were asleep. They take forever. My mom's an insomniac. We better take our car, there's more room. Think you can handle a station wagon?
Sure. It's not a stick, is it?
No.
Yeah, no problem.
Will you let me steer?
Sure. But maybe we should get out of here. I just heard something. It could be your mom.
Come on in. I'll go wait in the car. You guys wait here for my sisters.
Finally, the scene that is arguably the most distressing is when the boys go into the basement to wait for the other sisters. And they have these visions of being able to go on road trips and give the girls the freedom from their captive house. But as they go downstairs and wait, they quite literally run into the dead bodies of the girls. And shockingly fast, the life afterwards continues, as if no one seems to care whether or why the girls decided to kill themselves, or how the boys would have
Girls make me
reacted
crazy.
to experiencing
Feel
that.
one of them up just once. What?
We would never be sure about the sequence of events. We argue about it still. Most likely Bonnie had died while we were waiting in the living room, dreaming of highways. Mary put her head in the oven shortly thereafter. Therese, stuffed with sleeping pills, was gone by the time we got there. Lux was the last to go.
The Virgin Suicides emphasizes our society in a cruel way, as we completely disassociate from highly upsetting events and refuse to even check in on people who've experienced trauma, especially if they are children or teenagers, because we've become convinced that children move on as if nothing occurs and can't feel the intense pain that adults must. But this movie uses death to an extent that shocks the audience into recognizing how we are faulted in society.